Hey there, toy collector friends and Doctor Who fans alike. Welcome back to the channel. I'm the Triple TC, that's the time travelling toy collector, and this is another entry into my evolution of the Cybermen playlist. It is one of the figurines from the now defunct Eagle Moss and Hero Collector Doctor Who figurine collection. As you can see here, it was number 91. It's the Cyber Controller as he appeared in The Tomb of the Cybermen with the second Doctor as portrayed by Patrick Troughton. Comes in this little pod which keeps it very nice and secure and can also act as a presentation case should you wish to keep it in there. I have, for the purposes of this video, chosen to take it out. Now, as some of you will know from my previous videos around the Doctor Who figurine collection, it's not a collection that I avidly subscribed to when it existed, but I was particularly keen on picking up their Cybermen range, and alongside the Cybermen range I was also particularly keen picking up some of the Daleks, so I've ended up collecting some of the Dalek molds and also some of the Cybermen molds. So this entry is the Cyber Controller, which I recently picked up. As many of you will be aware, Eagle Moss is of course no longer. Let me zoom in a little bit more for you here. So I'm picking these up from the sort of secondary market where they've been found, or previous stock has been purchased, and it's now being sold through things like the Sci-Fi Collector shop or Master Replicas, things like that. There's and other online retailers have still got some, so you might want to keep your eyes open if there is a range that you want to complete, if you've got some gaps, or you might be looking for something very specific. I would urge you to have a look. Again, we do know, and I don't know whether it's Master Replica or not, I think it is, has now got the license to produce their own range of Doctor Who figurines, and I think they're doing some TARDIS police boxes. I'm hoping for some consoles, etc. But they have said, I believe, that they are not going to revisit pre-existing molds, partially, if not entirely, to ensure the integrity of the existing collectors' collections. So in essence, it will mean that where you have pre-existing Eagle Moss Hero Collector type figures, they are not going to be reproducing those, so the availability of those is limited to what exists, which I think is quite nice of them to be upfront about that. But it does mean that it will have an impact on secondary market issues around things like Cybermen, Daleks, etc, etc. And of course the Doctor figures themselves, which I haven't collected. Anyway, that's just a bit of a public announcement, public service announcement. This is, for me, this is a lovely figure. I've been very active trying to track down as many Cybermen figures as I can, and it has been difficult, it has been challenging. This one I picked up as part of a restock recently online, and they really are very well detailed. I mean, again, you have to bear in mind that this is a replica of an outfit with sort of ping pong balls and garden hose, but a replica of an outfit that was produced in the 1960s. I think 66, 67, I think this was, that this story aired, ish, give or take. And there's some nice, very nice, I'm going to zoom in a bit more so I can keep it in the light, really. There's some very nice facial detailing for this Cyber Controller. Given that, I mean, it's obviously bland and blank, but that's the way it's supposed to be. And then there's that sort of acorn head sculpt, but you can see those veiny lines on the head sculpt there, and the absence of the handles, but we do have this interesting detailing here, and there's the back of the helmet. And what you can see here as well, which is a nice touch, is the outline of the actual helmet, which the costume itself had. And again, it's one of those figures that doesn't have a lot of additional detailing, because it was mostly in the slow lumbering performance. But where it does have the detailing is in those sort of the trim to the costume, but also that sort of helmet slash mask that quite clearly is designed for an actor to wear. Disappointingly, there is a little bit of paint bleed. You can see that up on the mask there. But again, I think overall this is a very nice figure. I'm very pleased to have it in my collection. I don't know whether the face sculpt, you can see there's some sort of irregularities here on the face sculpt. I don't know whether or not that is supposed to be there, or whether it's just an unfortunate issue with the manufacture. But just that vacuous look of nothingness is really quite terrifying, I think, and they capture it really, really well. And it is, I think, one of the reasons that the Cybermen, let me just check the bottom, yeah, there you go, Cyber Controller, Tomb of the Cybermen, there's all the relevant bits and pieces. But all of the let's just zoom back out again so we don't detract from the figure. I do think all of the Cybermen figures that I've managed to collect have been really well detailed. They've done a sterling job. They're not great, and they haven't been great, Eagle Moss and Hero Collector. I know we shouldn't speak ill of the Dead Company, but they weren't great at human figurines. And as a result of that, I was not very keen on collecting, because some of them are really, really dreadful. And there's at least one example in the Batman Automobile collection, which is another playlist, which you may or may not have seen yet, where there's a really awful, it's the epitome of atrocious human figurine capturing. So that's one to look out for. You'll know it when you see it. And if you're not sure, I will be pointing it out. But coming back to the Cyberman, I think it's really nice. They're scaled very well to each other, as a rule. What they're not scaled well to is anything in the character options line, but then it never pretends to be. You know, character options is a thing all by itself, quite rightly, this isn't a toy. I mean, I think that's one of the most important things sort of to convey. Whilst I know this is a time-traveling toy collector channel, but this is a model. This is an imagination generating model and figurine. So it isn't, one doesn't expect it to be posable or to play alongside other things. It isn't posable, and my pretty standard caveat is to be very careful with these, because they are fragile. They are fragile. And I have had a set of Cybermen, which does appear in this playlist, the Evolution of the Cybermen playlist, that I got in a box set. And again, it was rescued stock, and that some of them had broken. They'd snapped in the box. It wasn't a returned box, because they were all in their primary condition in terms of being secured in the box. But they were broken. They'd snapped across the legs. Yeah, there was a couple of incidents there, but I was able to repair it. I don't purchase them for resale purposes. This isn't a business. It's purely to feed my own collection habit. But yeah, I was lucky enough to be able to fix it myself. I am very mindful that might not be everybody's case, but they did give me the offer of giving me a complete refund and a voucher, but they couldn't send me another box because they didn't have any others, and there were no more boxes forthcoming because they were out of stock. So it is a bit of a challenge to get these and to keep these, but that's why I say do be careful, because their fragility is problematic. And as I mentioned earlier on in the video, we're in a situation with these collectibles that when they're gone, they're gone. So if they're out in the wild and somebody's gets broken, over time, if you keep them nice and clean and nice and well protected, there is every likelihood that other collectors will be interested in purchasing these on the secondary or tertiary markets. But, you know, obviously the usual rules apply. Ideally smoke-free environment, ideally a pet-free environment, to be fair, or at the very least keep them secure in these. And as I mentioned right at the top, you can do, because they are perfectly formed to facilitate easy access. You can see them, and you can keep them safe, and you can keep them odor free, pet hair and pet dust free. Pet dust? That's weird. I know what I mean. So it is an option. So it is handy for them for you to have these pod things. But yeah, I really am enjoying completing this collection. It does make collecting more of an exciting hobby, because you don't know what you're going to find. It's not like when you subscribe to something where you get a pre-order in lickety split and you know it's coming, all being well. It is a case of you are having to almost forage for new elements for the collection. But I'm very happy to have this Cyber controller in my grip. And I'm very happy that you spent the last 11 or 12 minutes with me, so thank you very much for that. I have been the Time Travelling Toy Collector. You have been a wonderful audience, and if before you leave you could do me the absolute honour of liking this video, that would be great. Similarly, it would be fantastic if you could drop a subscription to this channel. I'm really trying to get to my next subscriber milestone, so it would make a super difference if you could just click that subscribe button. Then you never miss a video in the future about other Doctor Who products, or Star Wars, or Star Trek, or G.I. Joe, or Transformers, or Battlestar Galactica, or any number of other things that may be out there in the channel. So yes, do let me know if you've collected the Cybermen yourself down in the comments, and I look forward to seeing you in a future, or of course in a past video. It just remains for me to say that a thing of beauty really is a toy forever. Bye-bye for now.